When Keanu Reeves arrived at his nephew's basketball game, he expected to cheer from the stands. Instead, he found Jamie sitting alone in the parking lot, sobbing. "Coach says I cried too much to be an athlete," Jamie said. What happened next would end Coach Miller's career and transform youth sports in the entire district. The Madison Valley Youth Center's parking lot was nearly empty at 7 p.m. on that Thursday evening. Practice should have ended an hour ago, but 12-year-old Jamie Rodriguez sat on the curb, his basketball shoes beside him, tears streaming down his face. His jersey, number 23, was crumpled in his lap. Keanu Reeves pulled up on his motorcycle, removing his helmet with concern etched across his face. He'd promised his late sister he'd always look after Jamie, and tonight he'd managed to clear his filming schedule to surprise the boy at practice. But this wasn't the scene he'd expected to find. Jamie. Keanu sat down beside his nephew on the curb. "Hey, buddy." "What's going on? Where's everyone else?" Jamie looked up, his eyes red and swollen. "Uncle Keanu." "What are you doing here?" "Came to watch you practice. Your mom would have been proud to see you play." Keanu's sister had passed away from cancer 2 years ago, leaving Jamie in the care of his grandmother. "But practice is over, isn't it? Why are you out here alone?" Jamie's lower lip trembled. "Coach Miller, he kicked me off the team." "What? Why?" "He says I'm too soft, that I cry too much, that real athletes don't show weakness." Jamie wiped his nose with his sleeve. "Last week, Tommy broke his ankle during practice. There was a bone sticking out, and I started crying seeing him in pain. Coach said I was embarrassing the team." Keanu's jaw tightened, but his voice remained gentle. "You cried because your friend was hurt?" "Coach says empathy is weakness. He made me do extra laps while calling me crybaby in front of everyone. Then today, he said I don't have the warrior mentality for basketball. He cut me in front of the whole team." Inside the youth center, Coach Derek Miller was holding court with a group of parents, his voice carrying through the open windows. "I'm building champions here, not participation trophy collectors. If a kid can't handle pressure, they don't belong on my court." Mrs. Patterson, one of the parents, shifted uncomfortably. "But Coach Miller, they're only 12 years old." "Exactly the right age to learn mental toughness," Miller interrupted. He was a large man, 6'4", with a military haircut and a whistle permanently hanging from his neck. "I played Division I basketball. I know what it takes. Soft kids become soft adults. That Rodriguez kid, perfect example, cries at everything. No killer instinct." "Jamie's a good player, though," another parent, Mr. Chen, ventured. "His shooting percentage is the best on the team." "Doesn't matter if he falls apart under pressure," Miller dismissed. "I've got scouts coming to look at our program next month. I need warriors, not weaklings." Outside, Keanu helped Jamie to his feet. "Come on, let's go talk to your coach." "No, Uncle Keanu, please. It'll just make things worse." "Jamie, standing up to bullies doesn't make things worse. It makes things right." Keanu's voice was calm but firm. "Your mom taught you to be kind, to care about others. That's not weakness, that's strength." They walked into the youth center together. The gymnasium still had kids practicing on the far court, while Coach Miller continued his conversation with parents near the entrance. He saw Jamie first and smirked. "Rodriguez, I thought I made myself clear. You're off the team. Turn in your uniform tomorrow." Keanu stepped forward. "Coach Miller, I'm Jamie's uncle. I'd like to understand why you've cut him from the team." Miller looked Keanu up and down, not recognizing him in his casual motorcycle gear. "And you are?" "Keanu Reeves, Jamie's uncle." A few parents gasped in recognition, phones suddenly appearing in hands. Miller, however, just laughed. "Oh, great. The kid calls in a celebrity uncle." "Look, Mr. Movie Star, this is competitive basketball, not a feel-good Hollywood story. Your nephew doesn't have what it takes." "What it takes?" Keanu's voice remained level. He has the best shooting percentage on your team. His grades are excellent. He's never missed a practice. He cried, Miller said with disgust. When Tommy broke his ankle, your nephew sobbed like a baby. Champions don't cry. They capitalize on opponents' weaknesses. He cried because he saw another child in pain, Keanu replied. That's called compassion. That's called soft, Miller shot back. I've been coaching for 15 years. I've sent 12 kids to college scholarships. You know how? By breaking them down and building them back up stronger. Your nephew breaks down and stays broken. Mrs. Patterson stepped forward. Coach Miller, maybe we should discuss this more privately. No need, Miller said loudly, enjoying the audience. This is a teaching moment. Parents need to understand that not every kid is meant for competitive sports. Some kids, like Jamie here, are better suited for drama club or something. Several parents looked uncomfortable. A few were recording the exchange on their phones. Keanu looked at Jamie, who was staring at the floor, shoulders shaking. Then he turned back to Miller. You know what I think? I think you're confusing cruelty with coaching. You're mistaking fear for respect. Miller's face reddened. Excuse me? You're going to tell me how to coach? What's next? I come to your movie set and tell you how to fake fight. My fights might be choreographed, Keanu said quietly. But at least I know the difference between strength and abuse. Abuse? Miller stepped closer, using his height to try to intimidate. I'm making these kids tougher. The real world doesn't care about their feelings. The real world is exactly why we should teach kids to care about each other's feelings, Keanu responded. Jamie cried for his teammate. He showed empathy, loyalty, humanity. You're punishing him for having the exact qualities that make great leaders. Miller laughed harshly. Leaders? Your nephew ran to the bathroom to cry when we lost our last game. Leaders don't cry. Michael Jordan cried after winning championships. Kobe Bryant cried in his final game. LeBron James cried after bringing a championship to Cleveland. Keanu's voice grew stronger. Were they weak? The gymnasium had grown quiet. The kids on the far court had stopped playing, watching the confrontation. Miller's face was now bright red. Those were tears of victory. And Jamie's were tears of empathy. Which would you rather have on your team? Someone who cares about their teammates or someone who sees them as expendable? I'd rather have winners, Miller spat. And your nephew is a loser. Loser. He'll never make it in sports, in business, in life. Weak kids become weak men, and weak men... Coach Miller, that's enough. Mrs. Patterson stepped forward. I'm recording this entire conversation, and what you're saying about a child is completely inappropriate. Miller turned on her. Then maybe your kid doesn't belong here either, Patterson. This is my program, my rules. Mr. Chen spoke up. Actually, Coach Miller, this is a community youth center. We pay fees for our children to participate. This isn't your private kingdom. You want to pull your kids? Go ahead, Miller challenged. Good luck finding another coach with my track record. Keanu took out his phone. Jamie, why don't you go wait in the car? I'll be right there. After Jamie left, Keanu turned back to Miller. I'm going to give you one chance to make this right. Apologize to Jamie, let him back on the team, and change your coaching methods. Miller burst out laughing. Or what? You'll make an action movie about it? No, Keanu said calmly. I'll make sure every parent in this district knows exactly what kind of coach you are. That recording Mrs. Patterson has, it'll be everywhere by morning. You threatening me, tough guy? I'm promising you that actions have consequences. You've been emotionally abusing children and calling it coaching. That ends now. Miller grabbed his whistle like a weapon. Get out of my gym. You and your crybaby nephew, and if I see either of you here again, you'll what? Keanu asked quietly. Hit me? In front of all these witnesses, all these cameras? Miller's hand trembled with rage, but he stepped back. Get! Out. Keanu nodded to the parents and walked out, but as he reached the door, he turned back. "Oh, Coach Miller? You might want to check your email tomorrow morning. Something tells me the Youth Sports Association would be very interested in your coaching philosophy." The next morning, Madison Valley Youth Center was in chaos. The video of Coach Miller calling a 12-year-old child a loser and promoting toxic masculinity had gone viral overnight. It had been shared on parenting groups, sports forums, and local news stations. The hashtag #CoachingNotCruelty was trending. By 9 a.m., 14 parents had formally complained to the youth center's board. By 10 a.m., local news vans were in the parking lot. By 11 a.m., Coach Miller was summoned to an emergency board meeting. The boardroom was packed. Parents filled every seat, with more standing along the walls. Keanu sat quietly in the back, having returned to support Jamie and the other families. Board President Sandra Williams called the meeting to order. "We're here to address serious concerns about Coach Miller's conduct and coaching methods." Miller sat at the front table, still defiant. "This is ridiculous. I've won more championships than any coach in this district. You've also had more complaints filed against you than any other coach," Sandra replied. "We've been getting reports for years, but parents were afraid to speak up. They thought you'd retaliate against their children." Mrs. Patterson stood. "My son used to love basketball. Now he has anxiety attacks before games. He's terrified of making mistakes because Coach Miller makes kids do punishment drills while calling them failures." Mr. Chen stood next. "My daughter quit last year. Coach Miller told her that girls who cry don't deserve to play with the boys. She was 10 years old." One by one, parents shared their stories. Children with stress-related stomach aches. Kids who quit sports entirely. Young athletes who learned to hide injuries because showing pain was weak. Miller tried to defend himself. "I'm preparing them for reality. Competition is tough. They're children," the father shouted from the back. "They're supposed to be learning teamwork, sportsmanship, and healthy competition, not being broken down by a bully with a whistle." Sandra Williams raised her hand for silence. "Coach Miller, we've also received a formal complaint from the State Youth Sports Association. They're investigating whether your conduct violates child welfare guidelines." Miller's arrogance finally cracked. "You can't be serious." "Dead serious. Effective immediately. You're suspended from all coaching duties pending investigation." "This is because of him." Miller pointed at Keanu. "That celebrity came in here and turned everyone against me." Keanu stood. "No, Coach Miller. Your own actions turned people against you. I just made sure they were heard. What do you know about coaching? About building character?" "I know that my nephew showed more character by crying for an injured teammate than you've shown in your entire career," Keanu replied. "Strength isn't about being emotionless. It's about having emotions and still doing the right thing." The room erupted in applause. Miller stormed out, but not before shouting, "You're ruining these kids!" "Making them soft. They'll thank me one day." 3 weeks later, the investigation was complete. Coach Derek Miller was permanently banned from coaching youth sports in the state. Several former players had come forward with additional stories of emotional abuse, excessive punishment, and discrimination. The Madison Valley Youth Center hired a new coach, Maria Santos, a former WNBA player who believed in building confidence through positive reinforcement. At her first practice, she gathered all the kids together. "I want you to know something," she said. "In this gym, we celebrate effort as much as victory. We support our teammates when they struggle. And yes, it's okay to cry, whether you're sad, happy, frustrated, or proud. Emotions make us human. Humanity makes us a team." Jamie was invited back to the team immediately. His first game under Coach Santos, he scored 18 points. When he made the winning shot, he cried. So did half his teammates. They group-hugged at center court while parents cheered from the stands. Keanu watched from his usual spot in the back row. a proud smile on his face. After the game, Jamie ran over to him. "Uncle Keanu, did you see?" "We won." "I saw something better than winning," Keanu said, hugging his nephew. "I saw a team that genuinely cared about each other." Mrs. Patterson approached them. "Mr. Reeves, I wanted to thank you. My son loves basketball again. He actually smiles now when he plays." "Don't thank me," Keanu replied. "Thank yourselves for speaking up. Change happens when good people refuse to stay silent." The story made national news. The Madison Valley incident became a case study in youth coaching certification programs. New guidelines were implemented requiring coaches to undergo training in child psychology, positive reinforcement techniques, and emotional intelligence. Coach Miller tried to sue for defamation and wrongful termination. The case was thrown out when dozens of families testified about his abusive behavior. He moved to another state, but found that his reputation preceded him. No youth organization would hire him. 6 months later, at the end of season awards ceremony, Jamie received the Teammate of the Year award, a new honor created to recognize players who exemplified compassion, support, and sportsmanship. As Jamie accepted his trophy, he said something that brought tears to many eyes. "My mom always told me that being kind doesn't make you weak. My Uncle Keanu showed me that standing up for kindness makes you strong. And Coach Santos taught me that the best teams aren't the ones with the toughest players. They're the ones with the biggest hearts." The gymnasium erupted in applause. In the back row, Keanu wiped his eyes. Yes, he was crying, and he wasn't ashamed of it at all. A year later, the Madison Valley Youth Center unveiled a new mission statement engraved on a plaque in the entrance. "Building champions of character, where strength meets compassion." The youth basketball program flourished under Coach Santos. College scouts still came to watch, but now they looked for different qualities: leadership, teamwork, emotional intelligence. Several players received scholarships, including Jamie, who was offered early admission to a prestigious prep school. Derek Miller eventually found work as a delivery driver. In an ironic twist, one of his regular routes included the Madison Valley Youth Center. Every time he drove past and saw the kids playing, laughing, supporting each other, sometimes crying, always growing, he was forced to confront the truth. They were thriving without his warrior mentality. The real warriors, it turned out, were the ones brave enough to be human.